Hello, 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 everybody. Let me see if this is working. Okay. Figured to try something out different today to help out the Hell Let Loose community. And so, hello there, Soprano. How you doing, buddy? So today's video, I get a bunch of questions in the comment section of the YouTube videos and everything. So I wanted to do a little POV review of the game that I uploaded the other day. Helios vs. Greyhounds PHL night for the HCA seasonal finals for the lower tier bracket, right? So ESPT and WTH were facing each other in the upper tier bracket. So I kind of wanted to just do a review for everybody, and I'll obviously post this later as well. And so this could be a good instructional video for any new, young, brand new commanders out there that are wanting to experience and learn more about what it's like to command and Hell Let Loose and why we do certain things in the competitive scene. Of course, all commanders are built differently, and my tactics and strategy and understanding the game may be different than others out there, right? But I just want to give you my perspective, and hopefully this will take care of a lot of the questions I see in the comments on YouTube, especially, and sometimes during the game as well. But this will hopefully just be able to answer a bunch of things for people and be a good guide. Okay, so without further ado, we'll get started. Remember, I am Smithers. I command for Helios. So probably have commanded, oh gosh, probably at least 100, maybe 150 games so far. Not 100% sure, but it's in the ballpark of those two numbers. And so, so I've seen a lot, been under a lot of stressful situations. And if there's one thing that I can remind everybody of when you're starting off commanding, those first few games will be nerve-wracking for sure, and because the team is depending on you in a way, right? And so they're going to be looking at you to do this, to do that, and you're going to have to learn how to coordinate that and manage all the different stresses that come along with being a commander in Hell Let Loose, right? And I think it's one of those things that with experience, you'll just get better. And for those of you that are commanding in public matches, I think there's going to be a big difference between the competitive scene and the pub matches, right? And so in the pub matches, I can only say that you just got to try to encourage your team as much as possible to do what you need to do, and try to assign certain squad leaders, understand who's talking, not talking, and maybe you'll catch a break. But so this is more of a view from the competitive scene. And Das Altberg has a great video on the competitive scene. I very much encourage you to check out to be able to learn more about it and everything. But if you have any questions for the competitive scene, feel free to drop that in chat, and I'll try to answer for you as best as I can. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start off, and this will be the first commander review of this game. And I'll just try to walk through everything I was thinking during the game and why I did certain things. And we'll get started and see how this goes. Once again, first time doing this for commander review, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see what kind of improvements that we can make for future games and everything, right? And we'll go from there. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and click on the play button here. And I think this was my YouTube video, so I'll go ahead and mute the opening. And we'll just continue from here. Just make sure the desktop audio
Get that sort of
is working. Yeah, sure is. Okay.
During the game, and also the ups and downs. You could feel the stress probably.
So in the beginning of the game, right, the commander usually in the competitive scene is going to be in the supply truck. Good question, Glow. So in the beginning of the game, the commander is usually in the supply truck, right? And he is, as you can see here in the map, so I'm going to be pausing this as much as possible throughout. So let me go ahead, and you'll learn, as being commander in Hell Let Loose, you'll learn to drive and manipulate the map at the same time pretty well. It took me a little bit, but you'll learn how to drive and not get stuck and manage the map all at the same time. Also communicate with your teammates as well. So it's a juggling act for sure, but you'll get used to it. So here in a second, we'll pause the screen here. And so in the top left, we have the squad lead. So in competitive, Hell Let Loose, right now the rule set says you cannot destroy nodes. And I tell you what, that is a fantastic rule, because that way the team gets their nodes up and you don't have to worry about it, right? And that taking down nodes, by the way, is just pure nonsense anyways. So who cares about that? Just let each side get their nodes up, get the resources, and so neither side have to worry about that stuff anymore. So as you see in the top of the screen, each squad or certain people are assigned to drop supplies, and then they are dropping, building the nodes. So an engineer builds the nodes, right, and then all those go up on each part of the map, or each part of this HQs, and those get taken care of right away, okay? Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then we have the bloody. So in this was Purple Heart Lane, right? So we have all these trucks going here in Purple Heart Lane. There's very closed sections here, right? And so interesting fella. Okay, all right, everybody. So yeah, so in competitive Hell Let Loose, we have the trucks going over here, right? And so in PHL Night, or in PHL in general, there's very limited truck routes, at least in the old version, right? So I know they updated it. But yeah, so we have limited truck routes here in which we all find our routes. These routes are predetermined before the game, right? And each one of the squad leads or drivers is responsible for their route to head to the point. And so in this case, we had Grout, Pillbox, Jordan Canal, and then Madeline Farm. So on a commander, I'm looking at the game and I'm going, damn, that's pretty cool. Straight up and down, right? So that way the defense can focus on certain areas, right? And we don't have to worry about any really offset points, and we can really maximize our defensive ability in a certain area and everything, right? And that way, now we don't have to worry about stretching too far in the line, right? And as we go about here, we'll just continue watching. And so then we have the truck routes are lining up and everything. Nodes are being built. I'm spawning a extra transport truck. So also in competitive scene, you'll see extra transport trucks dropped for just extra squads, right? So you split up your chances of not having to worry about extra. Yeah, rip Florida man. Love those guys. Okay, and so there we have.
On the sketch where the Gary is.
Oh yeah, listening to my own comms. But so we have these old trucks going around. We have snipes in the beginning of the game. So in the comp scene, we will prepare certain truck snipes. So in the beginning, to get any advantage over the midcap that we can, right? We will prepare certain snipes to be lined up so we can get their trucks as they come about, right? And that way, at least we can get the best advantage we can in the opening midpoint. Now, keep in mind that during that whole time, the enemy is also preparing their own truck snipes, right?
Like a good grid line, but
So in theory, you could have a situation where both sides snipe all of their trucks, and that would leave quite a situation, right? But yeah, so as a commander right now, so I'm getting ready to go to the supply truck. I have my opening Gary assignments, right? And Greyhounds are a very, very good team, so I'm a little bit nervous inside. They're one of the best teams in Hell Let Loose. Easy top 6, right? And so just curious how the opening is going to go. Right now, we're getting ready to listen to command chat and see how things
guys say they got something
going.
called it out.
Yeah, so I make a call out to command chat to say, hey, let us know if you got any truck snipes or anything, right?
Even for losing cap too.
Yeah. We cannot lose Causeway.
So here we go. Everyone's going, right? Trucks are moving about. I'm going to my opening assignment. And now, like I said before, we're listening to see if we got any opening truck snipes.
Oh, we just got a snipe with a tank. It looks like Night View's got a
We got a truck, 11 kills.
Whoa!
God damn.
Let's go.
That would be
Nice.
their their
Klon
left
got
truck.
something.
Got something?
So now that we got the truck snipes down, that's been announced in command chat, everybody's excited, everybody's good to go, right? So 11 kills off of one truck. That's huge. It's huge. And then as Wix pointed out, it's probably their middle truck, right, heading for the point. And so that tells us as a team that we can gain that ground, right? So we should expect off the opening that the Greyhounds will have to spawn from their very, very far back areas, right? And they're going to be far delayed to the front line. And so that way we can gain all that extra ground off of the opening.
Oh, it's like 1-5.
Did we just hit? How many snipes did we just hit?
Push, need a W key, need a W key
We
now.
hit like
So Widow's calling for the W key, right? So in competitive terms, we're just talking about pushing forward and just going as far as we possibly can until we hit contact. And what happens sometimes is that teams will hit truck snipes, right? But they'll get off early and they'll just go to their predetermined positions. And they won't take advantage of that new ground they're able to gain with those truck snipes and everything.
4 or 5 snipes.
All right, team, we hit some snipes. Make sure to gain that ground and push.
Logi just down. My truck wouldn't go up.
Okay, so our Logi just said their supply truck drowned, right? So they got lost in the ditch there. And the supply truck went down. So we have to. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, all right. So we're not going to get these far east carries up off the rip. So it's going to be a little bit delayed over there. But as long as we are able to get this up, we should be good to go, right? And as you can see on the map, all trucks are still up, right? So Greyhounds have not hit any snipes. Mid truck is going to be going down here and gaining all this ground. And then these 3 trucks are obviously headed towards each side of the point.
I got 15. Holy shit.
Holy shit!
Whoever is at Duke River, someone needs to drop an OP there. Whoever's running up the middle of the Duke Bridge, I just drowned my truck.
You're gonna have to walk, Iggy.
All right, so there we go. So off the opening, I get killed in the supply truck, right? I remember this. I went, shit. And so now this happens, right? And I got killed in the supply truck. So I announce it to the team saying, hey, I got killed in the supply truck. And what's good when you have a really well-functioning team like this, they say squad leads react quickly, right? So we already have Queen Squad moving back here. They know they got to put up a Gary. Jig Squad, they know they got to put up a Gary. And then here soon we'll see another Gary go up on the left side. So the team reacted very quickly to this to get the Garys up as soon as I died. Because remember, in the supply truck, I have 2 boxes, right? And going down, that will take away two potential options here. But the team reacted very quickly to get these Garys up. So it was a very, very good job, everybody. Copy.
Smithers, can you mark where any other Gary is so I can build it for you?
Queen and a got mark.
Yeah, it's going to be east of the road.
Bodies the causeway to take ground.
The OP and Gary markers are exact.
Looks is on tear.
I got the truck by Causeway.
Yeah, guys, you need that Gary marker far
P4,
inside first.
P4 mark, P4 mark. I'm gonna keep after mark, jig. It is.
So if we look at the map right now, right, everything's looking really good. Clearly, like I mentioned before, when the truck went down, we got who knows how many trucks, we got 2 or 3 truck snipes, right? And now mid is pushing all the way down. All their OPs are clear. And then on the right-hand side, remember the Logi truck went down, so he's not able to get those Garys up over there. But that's okay. That's okay. We're gaining a bunch of ground middle. Greyhounds will maybe be able to get some crossfire up early across over here. But we have strong grout pillbox control. And I'm dropping supplies in the back line to get that other Gary up, right? So we'll have 1, 2, and then 3 Garys over here. And then we'll be good to go for the opening blue zone Garys.
Looking straight west right now, like straight west turret. It is sitting in the.
Pause, I can build that Gary for you if you want.
I got it.
For those of you just joining, feel free to ask any questions at any time. Happy to answer anything.
Can I get a support?
This is more of an instructional guide for
Team, let's get support and dogs.
new players and new commanders out there.
Support and
just
dog.
to learn more about the game, maybe the competitive scene, see how it all operates.
Whiskey, don't push too far.
Shit, they drove a transport truck to this Gary. I didn't get it up.
going causeway.
Widow, there's supplies there. They drove a transport truck right on those supplies for that Gary.
Yep, I'm going.
Oh, there's me eating.
We killed.
I'll just skip ahead. Hey, see if you could put up your OP near there, and we'll fill it real quick.
Yeah,
or
I'm
we'll,
about to.
okay. Okay, so now we've captured the point, right? And so as commander, one of the things I want to prioritize is getting Garys up. And so as you can see here, I skipped ahead a few seconds, right? But we already have a Gary up on Growl Pillbox, and then we'll get up a Gary up at Causeway here shortly. And remember, as commander, or remember to really understand the map and the terrain you're working with, right? And so realistically, there is no Gary spot here that would be viable. And so we're not going to worry about Garys up here. That we're going to be fine with this Gary back here on the 4 grid line, right? So this is pretty much no man's land. You're going to die out here anyways. And so remember, understand the terrain you're working with. Understand where would be a good Gary spot, and don't ask squad leads to put Garys where it would be kind of pointless, right? Unless absolutely desperate. If you're in a super desperate situation, then yeah, you could put Garys in certain spaces, but just try to, understand where the terrain would be.
Supplies at Causeway.
Armor, where do you want the first heavy? Left? Okay, so in the competitive scene, Armor has very specific spots where they want their tank spawned, and I try not to piss them off too much because we depend on them, and they're very good friends of mine and of the entire team. And so Armor has sometimes a predetermined positions where they want heavy spawned, and so I will wait for them to tell me most of the time, unless it's clearly obvious where they would want it spawned. Whether they want it middle, they want it left, most likely not right in the situation, because where are they going to go if it's right? They would have to cross this bridge down here, and they would be exposed to infantry, all that kind of stuff, right? So in this case, it would probably be either middle or left, but I'll wait for them to confirm.
Madcap, that might need to be you who builds.
Okay.
First heavy middle.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it now. If you want me to.
There's probably
Causeway
about
Garrison.
10 infantry pushing Causeway right now. 10 infantry pushing Causeway.
So very important, and when you're listening for tank calls and you're spawning stuff, just take your time and make sure you're clicking the right button. Now, I haven't done this in a very long time, probably 2 years, where I spawned a 75 instead of 76, right? So just make sure you're clicking the right buttons, because that way, if you don't want to waste 500 fuel on the 75 millimeter, you want to make sure you click the 76 millimeter one.
Hurry up.
Can we get flares over Causeway and front door?
Okay, so artillery is asking for flares, and so in a competitive scene, flares are super important, right? They save you from using 150 munitions from recon, and that way, and flares you can run them anywhere, right? Whether there's recon, you have to do a straight line over a certain area, but recon can head to any areas in which they need to, and really get you good local recon for urgent situations. And artillery needs that as much as they can get. Team, let's get 2 or 3 bodies on Sugar OP to push south.
Luke's is dead on Charlie light vehicle. Nice.
So then also, Armor will announce what kind of kills they got, right? So it's important to really listen to see which tanks are
Madcap, can we get a
down,
flare?
which tanks are
Ron, you're over there in.
because in the background, Armor's keeping track of how much they are up, how much they are down.
Carrington Causeway as
Need
well,
flare
right?
on Causeway, Causeway.
Nope, I'm on grout.
Okay, so that's gas mask and.
Madcap crash.
Yep,
Guys,
someone
Mike,
from
yeah,
west and north of
South
grout.
of those OBs.
Yep, Ample's also headed that way.
I'm gonna take
I want
over
most of the
Madcap's spot
infantry.
until he,
I
gets
want
my
most of the
movement.
infantry with gas mask on
Copy.
Carrington.
So as commander, you're probably wondering, what the hell am I doing back here, right? Sometimes I like to just run around on the back line, because you never know what you might encounter. There have been numerous times where I've encountered a lone SL wandering back here, and I just happen to kill him, right? Or you encounter a supply truck that got by, right? Because Greyhounds easily could have ran a supply truck all the way around, gone across this bridge, and started going around, right? So I don't believe too much in staying as one spot as commander, unless you know you have a really, really secure line and you don't have nothing to worry about. So against Greyhounds, they're an excellent team, like I said. You just never know what they might do. And so I'm just wandering around in the back line, checking things out, making sure I don't see any random trucks or infantry, stuff like that, right? And it gives me that peace of mind knowing that, hey, all this is pretty much secure and we're good to go.
Tan Causeway.
Redeployed.
They have MG up at Java right now. MG up at Java.
We have a Puma on jig light vehicle marker, stationary Puma. If we
And then when squad leads call out armor, they always make sure, I always try to encourage them to mention if it's stationary or if it's moving, right? Especially when it comes to heavies. Because when it comes to heavies, you can use the precision strike. And if the tank is stationary, then you can ask, hey, so were they for precision, or does armor have it under control?
can get a rocket, it's
Currently
in the open.
3-1
Any
on
rocket
Grow.
can hit that.
MG at Java's dead, guys.
And Widow just called out the MG at Java is dead. And so that way you, and during these maps, we have certain locations where we give certain nicknames. And it's very easy for people to refer to nicknames rather than certain locations on the map, right?
They have a whammo far out east.
If I said top right of E5, you'll all say, okay, well, I think this is it. But if I say, hey, Java Hut, I think that's what it was called. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys in chat.
Yeah, they're working east of Causeway.
Hey, they're
Pretty
in
close.
that house next to Gary.
That's right, Pisces.
North of Cause.
He's dead.
So what you'll see me do throughout the match as well is I prepare certain abilities here, right? So I won't necessarily run them, but I'll just get them ready. So same thing goes with supply drops, recon, strafing, bomber, everything, right? I'll get it in position just in case I think I need it. So that way it's already on the map and I can move it quickly if I need to. And so in this case, sometimes I'll highlight an area and then I'll go, you know what, I could save it, right? Because in the competitive scene, I try to prioritize as commander, converting everything as I possibly can to fuel. I want fuel for our tanks. I want them to be able to use their heavies as they want to use them, right? I don't want them to be paranoid. And so I'll be constantly converting fuel up here from manpower and then also from munitions. And then I have timers in my head to run encouraged.
That
and
squad
then,
is still
that
over
sort
there.
of thing. Yes, Venus Trench will be a classic call out forever and ever.
We need the sniper shutting down Java East. They have an OP in Java.
So Widow's calling out enemy plane going above, enemy plane for sniper support, right? And then
we just killed
when
2
planes
OPs
go
on your-
above, it's very important to call out that, hey, there's a plane that went above, right? And so that way everybody can look up to the sky. Now, being commander as much as I have, I know the difference between all the different types of planes. The only one I'm really concerned about is
Artillery mark.
airhead. Everything
Right.
else is sort of secondary. So here I'm just dropping supplies in the background just as a backup. So I think I just get him in position here. I don't know if I actually click it. Yeah, so I just get in position and I redeploy and we go on. I'll skip past the eating part.
Ninjas,
So here I'm getting in the supply truck and I'm going to be driving around here shortly to go into the different areas and
I
then
have
drop a couple
ninjas on
boxes.
Causeway, but we kept getting smacked up by that Puma that I've been calling out. That Puma is shutting down all of our MGs. And
Common question I get on YouTube comments is, why do you not have any fourth point pressure, right? Well, in the competitive scene, it's really difficult sometimes to have fourth point pressure. As we see here, Battle and Farm, we're going to be in a deadlock here. Each side is going to be exchanging blows between the middle of the 6th grid column, pretty much. And Armor is going to be peeking these edges over here, so they're going to be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? And then on the right-hand side, as you see in the bridge, they're trying, right? They're trying to push south, they're trying to get there, but they're exchanging blows back and forth. And you could tell from all the infantry marks that they're also pressuring in from the east, right? And so there's really nowhere to go. Our really only luck is going to be able to get one SL maybe around here to go all the way around and maybe get supplies Gary up down here.
it's a Puma in the middle of the open. I've been asking for AT.
Gary's
Can
overrun.
we get AT on Jago East?
And so you can see here Greyhounds are beginning to get pressure, right? They moved in from the east. They established Gary's over here. And now they're beginning to get pressure on the east and getting crossfire into these Garys. And this is going to force these group of OPs to fall back as well because they're going to get wiped.
AT on Jago right now.
They're calling for danger close arty. Just put it straight in front of their OPs. straight in front of their OPs on Causeway. It's the only way they're gonna save it.
And so now I'm dropping supplies back here because I notice on the map that, hey, these guys are under a lot of pressure and they're going to need to fall back, right? So I try to preemptively drop supplies back here. That way, if they get wiped, they can spawn on this Gary and push back south. And also, just as another warning system in case some sneaky little buggers come over here from the east and try to cross the road and get up here as well.
Causeway's gone. We lost Causeway.
So Widow announces, hey, we lost Causeway, right? OPs are lighting up. They're going to be pushing north. And so this tells everyone, hey, we're going to have to crunch back here. And then obviously now justifies my supply drop back here.
They're in our 3-story on the rear causeway, Gary.
Yeah, they're on
Just
third
one.
floor.
Pisces, coordinate the Hobo House MG. We have no MG in Hobo.
So Widow just calls out, hey, we need a Hobo House MG. And Pisces replies that he copies that and he's on his way. Or he'll send somebody.
I'm coming up
Need
there to help
supplies
you.
made before an AT gun.
Yes.
Airbags is
What?
not in this game as far as I know.
Over here on Camden Causeway.
Aid squad.
Yeah, what about it?
Oh, I said I'm coming to help.
Alright. They're east, and I can't peek anything.
Hey, let's get AT guns up while we have a pretty good stalemate here.
So another key point, Hazard just brought up AT guns, right? So the line is pretty much stabilized, as we could see in the map situation. Nobody's really winning too much, right? So they're getting pushed back up here, but they're able to trade effectively where they're not getting this wipe, right? And so Hazard says, hey, let's get some AT guns up while we have this downtime, right? And so that way, if the enemy later on in the game tries to push with their armor, we're prepared with some AT guns.
Alright. They're east, and I can't peek anything.
Hey, let's get AT guns up while we have a pretty good stalemate here.
Hey, we got both spotters for Carrington Causeway.
How is front door route?
So supply drop just landed, right? So I'm going to look to get a Gary up somewhere back here. The location isn't 100% critical, right? I mean, it's just mainly like as a backup Gary, just to have something for reserve.
Okay.
So this, obviously, if we were pushed back this far, right, this wouldn't be ideal. I'd probably find somewhere better with cover, but this is just saying, hey, here's a reserve Gary. We could take this down if we need to later.
If you need flares for ground, just let me know.
We might need some more guys down here. So,
My sniper said they're
Where's
flanking
that?
far east.
So very key note for commanders out there. Listen to your squad leads to say, hey, we might need some help, right? So it's very important to understand where are the trouble points throughout the map. And even though OPs are clear, they could instantly turn red, right? And so you don't want to ignore any squad lead's call for help unless, maybe you're aware of something else, right? But you want to pay attention to those calls for help and monitor those OPs specifically, or else those situations can turn pretty terrible.
Snappage.
Hey, Baker OP mark is accurate.
They're pushed up on Terra infantry mark front door. I just saw, yep.
Okay, so now we're getting front door pressure right here. So Greyhounds are closing and getting closer to the point, right? Now, Artie most likely is, so they're focused over here on Causeway right now. So Artie isn't able to shut down the front door pushes in the ditches, right? And so it's allowing Greyhounds to gain a little bit of ground front door.
Alright, come back front door, Roncon.
And so Zan's coordinating with Roncon, sending him back to front door to go help out there.
it's just like they're heading in the river.
So now Recon sends up a flare, right? And we see a few bodies on there. So it isn't super critical, right? Because remember, Greyhounds still have these ditches to go up. What would be critical is if they start wiping these OPs on point. Then we have a bigger issue. But as long as we have that Gary, we have a tank, I believe, back there. 4 OPs. This OP over here, we're in pretty good shape.
On the way up.
Yeah,
Canal, front door, look at the canals. Check flare.
There's an MG covering that house where I want to build that, Gary.
Hey, can you spawn E3 and work east? Back around towards Dover Battery?
I'm ready.
Same as Sealy. Flex and Assault 2 stay at Causeway, be
Okay, so Widow is one of the frontline coordinators, right? So he's saying, hey, you guys stay over here, you guys go over there, right? And so because as commander, some people, I think, in the beginning of this game, I think a lot of commanders think, including myself when I first started, thought, hey, as commander, I got to do everything, right? I got to coordinate everything. I got to be everywhere. I got to do everything. And I quickly learned the hard way that that's not the case, right? You have to have the ability, you have to believe in the other people on your team, right, to be able to coordinate things, right? And you have to find those people that are willing to step up and say, I can help coordinate frontline and everything. And so Widow and Huzzah are great examples of that. Dyslexics United is a great example of that, right? And so just coordinating everything on the front line and allowing them to do what they need to do. From my side, I work with defense a lot. So
I need more bodies.
we have some solid defense SLs and Helios, so I don't really need to do much. But sometimes they'll step in and recognize a gap or something. But as commander, you got to be willing to assign responsibilities and trust the people to carry out those things. So right now, I recognize the gap, right? And so I'm driving in the supply truck to the east. And as we see here on the map, we have the infantry markers over here, and they're wrapping a little bit. So we have to be able to get some outflank pressure here. And if you could tell on the map, right, we have plenty of Gary spots. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5. 1 will be going up at Causeway, so that'll be 6. And so we have 2 open Gary spots, essentially. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to establish a Gary east, so that way defense SLs don't have to run from mid to attack east. They can run from north and attack south and go across this bridge and hopefully stabilize the line.
Options of Tiger, it's in farms.
Charlie markers precise on that medium.
Enemy MG, sugar mark, 100%.
So I'm dropping supply jocks, and I always listen for shots. So there's a shot to just miss the truck right now, and so I know, hey, don't peek anywhere.
There is 3 to 4 guys on item infantry marker. That's how wide they are.
MG East.
So I dropped a box back there, right? Like I said, I heard shots. So I don't know if what angle he's looking at, right? But I know as long as I stay in the supply truck, he's most likely not going to get me because I'm on the left side. And so I just move up to the next hedge, drop another box.
Terror attack mark.
And stay behind the hedge.
Medium and heavy are pushing grout right now, east side. On Deadwell Market.
Check flare. Front door flare.
Okay. So now a Gary is up here, right? So the defensive SLs and any other SL doesn't have to worry about running east and running straight into the enemy. They can spawn back here, wrap around, go across the bridge, and outflank them because Greyhounds will be heading west, right? They won't necessarily be looking north because if they go north, what are they going to do, right? They have to go all the way around and back here and everything. So they're not going to want to do that. They're going to probably just want to try to slam front door. As you can see here, pressure is coming in from the south, and if they could just keep squeezing, they may get a breakthrough. And that flare, front door, it's one of those things. I look at the flare, make sure that tank was pushing up at this time, but I know our armor crews are in position and they're excellent, and so I didn't doubt much they would be able to handle that.
I needed an identification of this tank on easy mark.
I was told it was heavy tank front door.
I was told there's a medium and a heavy.
The MG suppressing ground pillboxes on Fox attack mark.
P4 front door. Option mark is a P4.
Okay, so Costco's calling out clearly that, hey, it's a P4, right? So very key for armor, obviously, because if they're going up against a heavy, they have to approach it differently versus a medium.
They're walking the tanks and infantry in with smoke.
Can you get a 18 to dog squad?
Okay, usually when the enemy is sacrificing artillery or HE rounds for smoke, right, they're getting ready to push or do something, right? They're going to drop an airhead, they're going to push, like you're seeing here, or they're getting ready to really attack. Because think about the sacrifice you make, right? Switching from HE to smoke, you're losing some kills there potentially and some time.
have the
so what you'll see I do as well is they got rid of the freaking Count Gary thing, right? And Helios, I don't know why. Either it's a bug or something, but what I'll do is I'll click Dismantle Gary real quick just to see the only Garys highlighted on the map, right? And I was like, oh, okay, I have 7 Garys up. 7 Garys is a good number. At least a Gary, we could take down this Gary at any time. We could take down this Gary if we needed to. So, but because for these red zone Garys or Gary at Carrington Causeway.
All right, they have the Causeway building.
Fat Egg, there's one on that river bend right in front of you that you're running to.
Yep, I didn't see him, but I know he's there now.
Oof.
Do we have explosive
Burped in game.
boxes and pillbox?
Team, we need explosive ammo boxes on pillbox.
Okay, so then I just called out, hey, we need explosive ammos, right? So in TeamSpeak, you can use a key to call to all team chat, right? And for these sort of things, you want to make sure to remind everybody, hey, take a second, switch to support class, drop an expo ammo box. That way our recon spotters can pop as many flares as they need to.
Baker attack marks enemy MG at Java.
Easy 4 on dog light vehicle mark.
Wiping all their OPs.
Okay, so we'll skip ahead here a little bit, guys. I don't
be
want
able to
to.
reflank that
We'll be
area,
here
so
for
that's
5
good
hours
OP.
if we do the whole match. Recon's going up in the 7 grid line.
I'm definitely shitting people over here.
Okay, so as we could see in the map situation, right? So everything is stabilized, and now the SLs are able to use that Gary. So seen here, right? We have Jig, we have Sugar moving down south, going across and everything, and they're setting up flanking OPs. All this is starting to stabilize, right? And now the Causeway push can continue a little bit easier because they're not getting as much crossfire from the east, right?
Can we get a sniper to hit the able move mark?
So don't always depend on your SLs. Don't always ask them, hey, can you go get this Gary up, right? Just take it upon yourself. You're a commander. You essentially get free body throughout the map, and you can take the initiative whenever you need to and get stuff up to help out your team.
Egg, I got one in front of you.
Smithers, 25 seconds, Tiger left.
Okay, so I'm listening to Armor say, hey, there you have a countdown timer for the fuel to tick over, right? And so 25 seconds, hey, spawn the tank left, right? And so I put that in the back of my head for Armor.
76 left.
Copy. So I'm checking to make sure, like, hey, am I converting everything? Encourage is 15 seconds. And fuel has a few seconds here and everything. So in theory, you should be able to hit fuel, generate fuel, and encourage all at the same time every 10 minutes, right? And then generate fuel every 5 minutes. So you'll get those numbers in your head. You'll start to have like these little timers that go off in your head during commanding a game. Because every minute you can convert counts for so much. Unless your team's like ESPT, where for some reason it doesn't matter, and you can spawn, you could drop 4 airheads in a game and it doesn't matter. I still don't know how they do it.
How are we looking front door?
They're just able to easily kind of push the lanes because the MG's and tank. The tank on Madeline's kind of fucking us a bit.
Okay.
Zan, we
But we're
destroyed the
holding it.
garrison on your mark.
Okay, so I just put up a Gary behind Jordan Canal. Once again, we had extra Gary room, so I just set one up back here just in case, right? Because once again, if there's any sneaky SLs coming around, they would have to go all the way around here and either across here or over here, right? And just as extra radar. And I keep in the back of my mind that, hey, we can dismantle this Gary, we could dismantle this Gary. And so we have 2 dismantleable Garys pretty easily here.
Yeah, Infidel, there's the AT gun right next to it.
Yeah, we're trying to kill that. We're not hitting it. We got the garrison though.
Chad.
Ned? Big dog.
Yeah, they could.
Right.
They could convert fuel to manpower.
Front door,
That'd be a
close.
bold move.
I got
But their
shot
armor's
from
okay
behind,
with it.
Dave. There's one here.
Come here.
So for bombing runs, buddy, I try to save them as much as possible because bombing runs in competitive scene, it's just not as effective because everybody's so spread out on the map and everything. So if we look here, 300 munitions for bombing runs, pretty expensive in comp because remember, I can use those munitions to convert for fuel, right? And the most bombing runners you're going to do is you're going to get a couple kills, but they're going to spawn back on the OP, right? Remember, bombing runs don't kill OPs. They only kill Garys. I didn't know that when I first started commanding, and I was so pissed when I didn't get any OPs with bombing run. I was like, what is this nonsense? There has to be OPs in there. So with bombing runs, you want to either wait till your team has a really good push going on so it can enhance the push, right? Or maybe you know where enemy tanks are hiding, right? So they're along hedgerows or something, and your armor can push up. And then when the bombing run goes over the tanks, it's going to disable their tracks. So they're going to be essentially going 1 mile an hour, right? And so I try to save bombing runs for just a very unique purpose or a very chance at something, right? I don't just willy-nilly try to use them because once again, it's 300 munitions and it's a 10-minute cooldown. And so if the Greyhounds, for whatever reason, suddenly got advantage, let's say they knock out all two or three of our tanks, then they can push free will, right? And I want to be able to have at least a partial ace up my sleeve to help stop a big push. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, let me know.
Do y'all need help front door?
We're making Brown and Causeway. They're shifting bodies somewhere. It's fun.
Now, don't get me wrong. Some teams use bombing runs whenever they want to, right? So it all depends on what the commander's priorities are, where their strengths are. If the commander knows that, hey, armor isn't really my strength, so they can use whatever tanks are free, most likely, then they're going to be more lenient with resources and just do whatever the hell they want. Me, on the other hand, I know the strength of our armor and everything, so I want to prioritize getting them as many tanks as possible.
They're shifting bodies front door.
We cleared an OP at flag.
18 got destroyed on that mark.
Chad, dude, thank you.
Killed the one who was shooting you in the back, Pope.
We need more explosive ammo front door. Artillery's short explosive ammo.
Okay, so now the recon team's calling for more explosive ammo. We have an AT gun up on the left-hand side. Now, remember, when you're playing these types of games, the one thing maybe I lacked here, where I didn't see it till later in the game, was this Achilles heel back here, essentially. So we have this bridge here they can cross. And so if they were to get an SL back here, right, and sneak all the way around, we would not have a radar network to really catch them too well, right? So essentially, if they play like W3 is really good at sneaking around and getting in impossible places you wouldn't expect them to. The Greyhound SL could have gone up here, gone to the right, gone all the way around, gone all the way back here, crossed here, and it's a long journey, trust me, but it's a long game, remember that. And they could have gone all the way down here, gone across Jordan Canal, gone across the bridge, and got up right here. And if they would have just put up a Gary on the border right here, just for like a split second, right, just 40 seconds, just for one spawn wave, and flood south and head straight to the point, it could have caused a lot of havoc, right? So in hindsight, we should have had an OP back here at the bridge, just as radar, just in case, because that's the only place where they can cross, at least in the old part lane, right? But we should have had an OP back here just for the peace of mind that, hey, there's no freaking way this guy's getting across the bridge without taking this OP down, right? So in hindsight, that's what we should have had also.
Can we get an engineer off of E4 to help repair the heavy?
But it's very important for SLs and commanders to really understand where is our Achilles heel, because all teams are going to have some type of Achilles heel attack, right? So like I mentioned, the Greyhounds SL could have snuck all the way around, would have been like a good 15-20 minute journey, right? But GBI will do this, Chimera will do this. I mean, a lot of teams will do this, right? They'll just send someone all the way around, right? And they'll come all the way around, set up a Gary, spawn bomb the Gary, get behind you, cause a shit ton of panic. Then once those guys die, they switch to the front line and smash up the front line, right? And then it's just pure chaos.
Attack front door, attack front door. Check.
Need engineer off E4 to help repair the heavy.
On dog-like vehicle mark, rushing point.
Can we get a repair station E4 if that's where we're holding?
Okay, so often squad leads will call for repair stations, right, for the tanks. And in competitive scene, you want to make sure tanks have repair stations by them, so you don't have to worry about getting out and repairing, because a lot of the times the enemy teams are good enough where they will coordinate artillery, right, to drop on tanks that are repairing. And those crew members will die faster than you can believe.
Let me know if
They're
you need me
really
to fall
close
back
front
at
door
any
now,
point.
bro.
Good stationary dog-like vehicle.
Alright, the tank front door was a Luke's. It's dead.
Nice.
Tank check flare.
Precision is ready. Precision is ready. Okay, so I called out to armor mainly, right, saying, hey, if you guys see a tank, let me know. Precision is ready, because remember, precision has 20-minute cooldown. So essentially, after the first opening one, right, you get 3, maybe 3 a game, maybe 4 if you're very good, right? So, yeah.
Tank on P mark destroyed.
Okay, so as we see here, the grind continues. But the good thing is, right, is that the east side, they were able to push up, right? They cleared all this. OPs are set up. They're good to go. And then Causeway, as you can see here, stabilized as well. They push south and they gain that ground back. So now it's a nice back to the even map flow, and we'll see what happens. Skip ahead just a little bit here, guys. And now we have Sugar SL moving around, right? He's going to be pushing to the south here, potentially trying to aim to get something in the back line. Because remember, you always want to try to get some pressure behind them, because the enemy's facing forward, they're attacking, right? And so you want to be able to shoot them from behind, basically. And so Sugar is moving down here, and he's going to try to get this Gary up here. So that way we can flex a few SLs to start moving north and attack them from behind.
Okay, we own Causeway.
There's still an MG on.
Widow announces, hey, we own Causeway, and it's established by, hey, we got a Gary up, right? We got this shit.
Madeline messing our front door.
Oh, yeah, when we get the heavy up, we'll try to deal.
Hey, Baker infantry marker, huge spawn, Baker infantry.
Okay, so Baker infantry marker, okay, it's down here. It's to be expected. All competitive teams will have a borderline launch Gary here. And so Widow's just calling out to say, hey, this is where they're spawning. And so that should send a signal in chat to Artie, right, to saying, hey, can you drop Artie rounds pretty much here, right? Can we shift Artie over here to get this? Front door should be able to manage, right? These are ditches up here. So they'll get a little bit of, Greyhounds will get a little bit of ground, but the infantry up here should be able to handle them.
Yeah, that's where their Gary was when they had to respawn.
Okay, so I'm lining up the bombing run. I don't remember if I dropped it, actually. I think I just lined it up in case, because I'm debating to say, hey, if I drop it, is it going to be worth it? Because, I mean, infantry's looking pretty close here. They could gain that ground back, and they could take out the Gary. So I think I held off.
2. AT gun on the god.
Option marks, actor marker OP, option.
Pisces, MGs need to be Hobo House, Java, and Causeway.
Copy that.
So Widow's calling out where MGs need to be, right? And so Pisces says, I got it. I'll coordinate it. You got infantry close to the strong point. So I just want to call out to everybody. I think I did this in... we got infantry close to the strong point on pillbox.
We took back control of Causeway.
Yeah, okay. So I just call Armor, where do you want next? I call it out in command chat to make sure everybody knows that, hey, we're getting some pressure on pillbox, right? So I'm not too sure if they already shifted at that point, already, towards Causeway. So it's got to be careful about pillbox, because it's a very concentrated strong point, right? It isn't like SME Church where you have a whole bunch of ground around it to push back in. Once you're out of grout pillbox, then then it looks kind of dicey.
Pre-spawn left.
Okay, so I'm pre-spawning
Don't
heavies
think I put that
for
Gary in
armor.
the ideal spot, but it's up.
And now, as you see here, as I mentioned earlier, Sugar's moving down here. They're going to try to get this Gary upright. And they're going to set something up here to attack north. So just skip ahead a little bit. Watch this develop. And the armor's in great positioning here. And then we have... I'm back here on the AT gun, just trying to see if I can get any extra lucky shots. As commander, you always want to try to get at least maybe one kill. Most of the time, I don't see an enemy unless we're getting pushed back to our point, or I find somebody in the back line. because my time is spent most valued, right, alive, right, because I want to be able to drop supplies. I want to run a recon, maybe do a precision strike where we have a 2-second split chance at, right? Drop a bomber run, spawn a vehicle, right? So I don't want to delay our team because I'm dead, because I suddenly felt the urge to go into the front line and get myself killed, right? That doesn't help anybody. People aren't looking for me to have the top KD ratio, or sorry, the top kills per minute ratio. The Gary and G8 is open if we want to think about a reflank there. Okay, so very key call out. When we have a deep reflank Gary open, we want to be able to, hello there, Waffle Zombie. How you doing, buddy? Special call out for you. Let me know if you want me to say anything special this chat. So here we have a deep reflank Gary, right? And what we want to do here is we want to make sure to call out, say, hey, SLs, we have an opportunity here to say we can get a few SLs here, move them north, get some pressure on the Greyhounds from behind because this is lighting up now, and to relieve that pressure and hopefully gain some ground.
Yeah.
Yep, Causeway's
Don's
gone.
going reflank. Widow, I'm gonna get this recon tank with an angle on it. Egg, it's locked.
Copy. It's kind of in the middle of the open, so I expected it.
Yeah, so remember in red zone Garys, you have a 100-meter distance, right, where the enemy can run something by and lock a Gary. The important thing is his OP is still up. And so that way, once that Gary becomes unlocked, we release a few SLs.
Widow, or anyone spare body, my OP, Jig?
I'm recon. I think I have maybe 2 or 3 beverages by me during the game, right?
Guys,
because I never know how nervous I'm going to be or what's going to happen. I just want to make sure I'm well liquefied.
3 MGs east side.
Tank on recon, command tank marker is light vehicle P4.
Okay, so Egg called out P4 for light vehicle marker. Tanks, you want to make sure you label them as heavy so that way armor doesn't get confused. So the Gary spot is now open. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 SLs in the Greyhounds backline, and they're going to be pushing up here, taking some ground, identifying Garys, identifying positions right. And so Greyhounds will be forced to react now and pull bodies back from the causeway pressure and move down here, right? And plus their tanks are sort of going to be in jeopardy as well because now we can get excellent recon on their tanks. As far as Grout Pillbox goes, stabilized, right? Neither side is really going to gain much here. As long as we trade effectively, we're good to go. The important thing is that we're able to gain ground in other parts of the map.
Okay, if you think you can make it fast enough, then go for it.
Go, Egg, go!
I have legs. And
Okay, so I dropped supplies earlier in the game back here, and the Greyhounds didn't go to them. And so Egg is going to try to make their way back there. And I know. It isn't the greatest spot for a Gary. I know that. But the point is if we're able to get anything up in their red zone or behind them, right, then at least we can get some pressure that they'll have to react to. And maybe, who knows, an SL can sneak around and get in position here or something, right? But anything within 100 meters, remember, it locks. So there's really no great spot here, to be honest, without getting noticed. So hopefully maybe just something back here to get a few SLs to sneak up. We'll see. It's more of like a, hey, let's give this a shot. We have some chips to play with. Let's throw some in the pile.
I have an AT gun back here. That's neat. I hope there's no one on it.
But I can already tell you they have OPs on the east side that are pinching us in Causeway. We're going to lose this within the next couple minutes.
Well, keep the
behind
already
the
front door, right in front of your OPs. The already.
Stuka. Okay, so I heard the Stuka sound, and I wanted to call out to Armor to say, hey, there's something up. So, granted, they're not going to have a long chance or a long time to react, right? They would have to start backing up immediately, but who knows? It could help them out.
Wix, there's a guy near your tank.
It missed.
Okay, so Armor calls out that Stuka missed. I'm dropping
Gary is
supplies
down
back
on your
here,
mark,
just
Don.
in case.
We lost front door Garys. We lost front door RPs. I'm seeing. Front door RPs we lost.
Okay, so when command chat calls out like, hey, there's something going on, we have to be very careful, right? So I may have made the mistake earlier saying, hey, we have infantry and pillbox a little bit too loudly, right? So that you don't want to cause panic amongst your team, so you just want to be nice and gentle and understand not gentle, but you just want to really measure your tone when it comes to what you're calling out, right? Because there's a big difference between, hey, we're losing the freaking point, guys, versus, hey, we have some pressure. So just want to make sure you understand what words you're calling out so you don't
should
panic.
probably get people redeploying to grout. It's capping, guys.
Our forward causeway tank needs repairs.
Copy.
Okay, we'll skip ahead here a little bit, guys.
Bridge.
So now, by this time, Jig has gotten their OP up right south of Madeline Farm. Sugar's over here. They're going to get this Gary up over here, right? And then we have Item over here moving to get some pressure over here. Okay, then we have a couple blueberries back here harassing things, finding things, and maybe knocking some things out.
If you can look south of you, there's an AT gun shooting. Oh, sorry, is that marked already by Zan?
Yeah, I marked that already.
Sorry.
You're good.
Can we get some bodies on Charlie to push? We're making good ground pushing front door out.
Okay, so Huzzah calls out, hey, we need some bodies front door. We're able to gain some ground here because maybe Greyhounds have shifted a lot more bodies back here, or maybe they noticed, hey, we have some backline pressure because Jig's OP was just wiped, right? So it's all those things on the enemy side where you kind of have to guess as to what they're reacting to. Now, for me, I'm not too, there's nothing critical I need to worry about, right? Because we have a solid line here, right? Once again, probably could have used an OP back here just to be 100% safe.
Charlie 8 is open.
Alright, Flex SL need to be going to Charlie 8. Flex SLs only. Regular SL need to hold the line.
Queen attack is MG.
I got one in on that. I got one in on that Tiger with an AT gun.
Recon's going up over Madeline.
Okay. Bodies and
So running recon over Madeline, so this will give us a full view of everything that's going on in the 7 grid square, right? And plus, the main thing I run recon for these days is just to help out armor and understand where the enemy tanks are and everything, and that way they're good to go as far as the latest intel. But we'll have 2 SLs back here to get
Item
intel
if we can as well.
for the armor too. Team, let's fill Item. Team, let's fill Item. Okay, so these all team calls are to certain SLs, right? So I recognize that, hey, Item's OP's right here, right? And I think they just made a call as well, so down Vice. And so this way we could fill this OP and they can push up northwest and they can attack from behind, right? And relieve some pressure on the front line.
They bopped my OP.
And there, I was just checking in the
P4 is dead.
deploy screen, right? Just to make sure. Item.
P4 on causeway.
Yeah, okay, so here I'm just checking on Item Squad to make sure it's being filled. So we have 2 spots in there, right? And I think in a minute or so, it's filled.
Right, focus on grout.
So Fat Egg is moving in behind Metal Farm. We have 2 more SLs back here as well. Now, granted, hindsight, they probably should have just switched to this Gary and kept pushing up north, right? Because this isn't going to do too much because Greyhounds are going to pretty much just wipe them out. I think wipe them out here in a few minutes.
Plate vehicles destroyed.
But it's always sometimes, not always, what am I trying to say here? Sometimes it's worth a try.
All our armor will be made right except my tank.
Tiger on option mark. Tiger on option mark.
Tiger on mic mark also.
Okay, so calls are being made out for the tanks and everything back here. Then we have the causeway or bridge is getting, northern causeway is getting pressured a lot, right? And so this is where things are not looking too good here, but the tanks are holding the ground. The tanks are splashing HE, and there's not many places for infantry to cross, right? So it's sort of like a nice funnel in a way.
There's an MG on Jordan attack that's fucking us. Top story. Can we get an AT shell up there? Or sniper?
Can we get some AT to the?
I already used it for the other Tiger.
It's actually clear. It's all.
Okay.
Okay, so earlier I took out a Tiger that was on one of these buildings up here with the precision, and so now it's on cooldown. So one of the squad leads called out there was a Tiger perched on top of a building, and so I used the precision on that to knock it out.
Where you at now? I see you.
Don, try and push north if you can.
Okay, so we still have the Gary back here, right? So they can push north. This is going to get squashed out, I think, here shortly. And once again, they don't really have an avenue to really attack Madeline, right? They have to go around here, and it's all pretty much open. They're going to get wiped. They can't go across the river.
I'm on my way. Lovely. I'm coming to support with the second OP.
Zan, I need you to be.
Garrison right on the road by my body. Yeah, it wasn't
Okay.
surprising.
Yeah, so these OPs are going hot back here. Gary's hot. Greyhounds have sniffed that out, so they're going to wipe that out. So I think these SLs now shift over and they move over here.
I think they had a Gary.
Whoever has Scooty, get him to kill it.
Okay, so now we have 4 SLs moving up,
Hey, listen, their tank
and
is
they'll be able to go behind the back line.
Gato shift already to that left.
Greyhounds are pushing tanks up to Causeway, right, so they can get control of this, and with the goal of getting tons of crossfire on Grout Pillbox so these infantry can push up, and they can knock them out.
Creek, Baker attack mark.
Yeah, need any AT we can. Have a dog.
Team, we need AT and dog. AT and dog.
Tiger and
E4, H4 shooting at these tigers on the east side of Causeway.
Okay, so as we see on Recon, right, we have the east side of Causeway, Tigers rolling up, right? The SLs are moving up. I think this is where, I took that bombing run that I had down here earlier, and now this is where I'm like, okay, hey, if I can run a bombing run over these Tigers, knock out their engines, could give an opportunity for our infantry and our tanks to push up and knock them out.
Are there still
flare?
Are there still tigers pushing pillbox?
No, it's down.
They have 2 tigers on Causeway, Wicks.
Copy.
One of the
copy.
tigers down.
The pillbox is clear for now.
Okay, so bombing run's being run, and this is where the bombing run, it's sort of like a flip of a coin. You can run it on the road, right? And I chose to run it to the east a little bit, considering the Tigers are going to be positioning over there behind the houses and stuff, right? So, yeah. But then we have the SLs moving up behind here, so it could be a nice double, nice little double-sided push we have here. So I take a deep breath.
They have MGs again in Causeway. Able to attack.
Can we give flare on pillbox? It flickered for a second.
I think the bomber run came in already.
Accurate.
Box is dead.
Yeah, okay, bomber run came in.
Yes.
I think I got a couple kills, so I checked my CE to see what kind of kills I get, just in case a lucky bomb went over heavy and knocked out a heavy, which would have been, I only did be able to do that
flare
once.
on pillbox? It flickered for a second.
So once again, constant flares throughout the map. Nice. SLs are still moving up down there, right? To outflank, south of Causeway. Infantry is sneaking up as well. And all these little things throughout the map are so key. Now we're about halfway through, so under 45 minutes left.
Try to nade over the house from like Baker OP.
Just gonna move up to Grout Pillbox, see what's going on here.
They're coming in from center HQ.
Yeah.
Pushing my
minute.
Gato, give me a hold on the RD. South the Grout.
Able attack is one MG.
Okay, so I'm just laying prone and the
Recon
is
up.
up. Just
Chart at the Tiger.
understanding the strong point control, what kind of pressure we have.
Recon is up.
But the map situation looks really good. We've obviously pushed a bunch out here. We need to get our spawns back up here at Causeway and everything, right? But overall, it's looking okay. Recon is up.
Its gun is facing Causeway.
His gun is.
Charlie's dead.
Nice.
Making some progress down the left canal here. So, Dan.
Okay,
Gonna
thank you.
support.
Listen, we need.
I found their road.
Marked it.
Okay, so Causeway is being reestablished again. Everything's looking good there. We're sneaking some more ourselves into the back line, and they're able to push up. So far, like Greyhounds not been able to sneak through. So over on the right-hand side, we've been able to get any people that try to push through. And then the Causeway has been secured, and then this line is secured. So everything's looking really good on this map.
I'm dead. I can't mark it. E6 keypad 1.
Got the AP.
Okay, so I just continue converting fuel, converting munitions.
That P4 just
Actually,
ignored
yeah,
the Gary.
I didn't think I meant to convert munitions there.
With enemy AT gun.
Recon's up.
Pushing up.
Causeway, guys.
Can I get one AT rocket shoot?
Whoever.
So here I just look out in the back line just randomly in the distance, because you never know when you might spot something, right? So I just try to look out with my binos and see what else they may have out there.
I think we're putting too much.
Just in
infantry on the
case I
flanks
spot
again.
an SL moving around. And as you see here, I'm in that gap here in the top of, the bottom of D4, just to catch anybody trying to sneak around, right? Because you just never know. You never know.
Our ROPs are getting spawned.
Yeah, just mark it, because we're fucking... There's no tanks over here, so we're doing whatever the fuck we want.
West side of you, Queen. West side.
Tiger down. Another tiger down.
Good shit.
Okay, so this was the precision called out right there, right? That was peeking over there. And so, yeah, another tiger down with two for 2 on precision this game.
Let's stay aware of
We have a shit ton of fuel. Do we need guys bringing up tanks?
Yeah, so this is one of those rare situations where we have a lot of fuel to burn through. And so in this case, I could have spawned half tracks, I could have but just pre-spawning heavies and everything, making sure everything's good to go. And of course, we always have the option to convert fuel to muni or manpower if we need to.
Yeah, we need another tank brought up to like Echo for Gary.
And so Armor will coordinate to say, hey, we need certain tanks being brought up to exchange because maybe they're out of fuel or maybe they're out of ammo. And so by this situation here, we have a Tiger that's obviously very aggressive, or a 76 that's very aggressive here to the south and gaining a bunch of ground and everything. And the infantry is pushing up. The map is looking really, really well. We're really, really good at this time. Front door secure, back line is secure. Infantry is nice spread out, covering a whole bunch of distance here. And we have very, very good penetration.
Preventing us from working further off Causeway.
Smithers, we gotta be spawning 76s as soon as they're available, even if we don't answer you. Just get it on the ground somewhere when it's
Enemy
off cooldown.
Puma sugar mark watching our Gary.
Okay, so Armor reminds me that, hey, we need every 76 we could possibly get, just in case. So that way, if something were to go wrong, we don't have to worry about a cooldown for a tank that we need desperately.
Wait, Causeway's coming huge right now.
Road to Carrington Garrison is down.
And coordinate.
Okay, map situation still looking very solid. We're even gaining some ground front door here. But Greyhounds will have tons of MG42 set up to prevent really much more being gained.
There,
26 minutes left.
We need one more up here.
They took it already. It's gone.
They already took it. I'm just saying Europe is going to get wiped from behind. You don't have to.
Farther forward. I'm gonna reset now.
Okay, once again, just as commander, just monitoring the map and everything, right? Just making sure
please,
everything's okay.
Smithers?
It's on cooldown. 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute
There-
left, please.
Guy in the bushes to the east.
They went left off the road by Pillbox.
Let's go. Can you get next for right side of canal and pillbox?
West of the main road.
infantry pushing up on Terra, far east.
South
Yo.
in the trench with me.
Okay, everything's still looking stable, so 23 minutes left to go.
Okay.
The main thing I'm looking for now is just to make sure that our Gary network looks good. Is there anything that could be dismantled, could be moved up? But no, LP placement's really good too, right? We have a great network to catch anything. And Sugar here is going to get, I think, try to do backline Gary one more time, but I think they're going to get wiped out.
Alright, we lost the Gary at Causeway. They're overwhelming. Prepare to reset Causeway.
Okay, tanks are exchanging back and forth
One
here.
more sugar.
We just traded with one tiger at Madeline. There's still one tiger left.
Okay, they're calling out which tigers they're exchanging with.
crossfiring that infantry in front of you.
This is where everybody in the match usually gets kind of tense, right? This
try to
is
get
the
supplies to you,
championship. It's under
Yeah.
around 20
Reset,
minutes
so
left
is
to
he.
go. So everybody's tensing up a little bit. Comms will get sort of
2-0 on ground.
aggressive, more aggressive.
Copy. Think you're on count.
And people will just be watching what they do a
Your
little bit
infantry
more.
markers burned. Gas mask that.
Cut off.
Enemy AT gun unmanned. Mark.
But we're looking
sugar.
really good. We're
Front door's
looking really
clear.
good.
I'm just tank spotted in flare.
So I spawn a Jeep here. I want to drop. It's very rare. I just want to
Recon
be able to
here,
spawn a
the
Jeep.
gauntlet
But
vehicle.
here I want to be able to drop some expo boxes up on the front line for recon units to be able to pop as many flares as they want. So I will wait till the very last possible.
They have a spawn somewhere near sugar
I
outpost.
will wait till the very last possible moment to spawn a
guys
Jeep
just
because
trying to push that
obviously
door
know
again.
the importance of armor and everything. Right?
Let's keep them up body or
They
two
have
back
an
there.
MG south.
Against the left
They have
branch
a
again.
Puma on
What's very important is that you may have just seen the point flicker a little bit, right? So ground flickered, and the important thing is just to look at your map and to understand how many spawns do we have around the point to make sure that we're okay. So the point flickered, but we have Charlie, we have Dog, we have Hal, we have George, we have Fox over here to the east, and we have a Gary on point, plus a tank rolling up. So I wasn't too concerned.
light vehicle.
Hey, Pope, do you know where that MG is?
And once again, these things are all running through my head as I look at the
I
map.
cannot see it. I have to push it to get to it.
Both AT guns down, sugar markers.
So now I'm running up here through the Jeep.
Already smoking something on the road.
This is where I'm very careful not to miss the bridge here.
Might need AT off the Dog. We got a Luke's possibly trying to dive.
I'm gonna try to take out that Garrison first.
Hey, Ron,
Being
I'm
alive.
looking at that edge. I saw a guy trying to push that edge.
Yeah, I'm seeing them gathering on the map edge.
So drop a couple boxes here behind the point.
Quite a few over here.
Couple expo boxes in the point.
Over there.
Luke's is on Dog by vehicle mark. Currently submerged.
Recon expo boxes around pillbox to the south or north.
Can we get a flare on the map edge for
They're
drop?
already.
I want to get already on George.
Let's push
I
that
think
far
I
on
Damn,
take
he
some
got a
shots here.
He's got a Luke's approach map edge. Dog by vehicle mark. He's got
Yep. Left and out.
Infidel,
tracking.
can you see this
I was
AT gun?
dismantling Gary. Okay, so I dismantled a Gary and I dropped backup supplies in case once we're ready to reset that Gary. Because I honestly don't expect this Gary in the southwest to last that long. So I say to myself, hey, I'll just put a supply drop back here and I'll just reset it when able. And plus, the AT players can use this as a for AT gun if they need to do.
Wait again.
push up, push back up on Terra infantry straight east.
Widow,
of
keep
Causeway.
running. There's a satchel where Dog placed. Alright,
Oh,
off.
I got the Jeep on fire
Moving
through
forward.
the water. That's what
Right
that
here.
was. Okay, under 15 minutes left to go.
It's on me, Egg. It's on me.
Copy. Marking you.
I'm like sure there.
There we go. This is where I got on fire. Oh.
Can I get Artie on King Artie mark? You've got
There we go. Nice little cinematic effect.
sure.
But the beautiful thing is that our tanks has repair stations all throughout the map, and so I was able to quickly get to one.
They have a transport truck.
Just did a little NASCAR pit stop up here.
Never mind.
See the repair station like Ogo and wham bam shabamo. There we go.
Seal, you might have to look at it. Pop says he sees it.
we marked
Clear
the tiger.
tank marks on Madeline. No tanks on Madeline. Clear marks.
Say tiger southeastern causeway.
That's what Pop told me.
There's another
Check love marker.
shooting us from southeast where we are in the medium, 100%.
Where would you like me to put my OP Smith? I'm completely lost.
Okay, so Fat Egg, he just called on Command Chat and asked me where should I put my OP, and so this is the time where we have just a few minutes left in the game, right? I think we're down to 13 minutes, and so this is where I'm like, hey, just go put it there on my move marker, and so that way we don't have to worry about any SL sneaking behind, getting across the bridge, and setting up a backdoor Gary in the final minutes and screwing us over. So if he puts his OP up there on the bridge, and then that way it'll be our radar, and we'll be good to go. And as I mentioned earlier in the game, I wish we would have had that OP there earlier, but it's okay.
Before
We
Elmark dead.
ended up making it through.
Hey, does anyone see where that transport truck went east side?
So that's another key thing is you listen, hey, transport truck east side, does anybody see that, right? So just something to keep in mind if vehicles get lost, right? It's important to constantly look at the back line and maybe see where they could have gone.
I didn't.
Where we have control, where we don't have control. Yeah. So I make a team call out, say, where we don't have control, where we do have control, right? And right now it's looking really good. Egg's going to get his OP up right up here. And so that'll cover that gap. We have a good Gary network. We have Gary on pillbox. We have 2 tanks, right? And we have another tank moving up, right? Panzer 4 over here, or medium over here. So we have really good spread, really good coverage. Another 76 right here. So I'm feeling really good in this game. But once again, in the final 10 minutes of any competitive game, that's where teams really adrenaline is pumping, and you do things you're not normally able to do.
I haven't really have this tank on the east side.
Yeah. If you want to go back and support their...
And so this is where I realized that, hey, I can spawn a half track. We're at vehicle limit. I'm not going to keep doing Jeep runs in this thing. It's going to be pointless. I started going over the track.
Garrison on jig marker.
We can
Garrison
get
jig marker.
Oh, let me go back actually. This is funny. So I dropped one more box, take a shot, try to go up the side of the road. Nope. Life in game about a little bit. See if I can make it through here. Now, before I turn this corner, I was not expecting to see this guy, obviously. But I was planning on hopefully jumping over here or over to the right and getting a couple OP wipes, right? And see if I could do a quick spin around. But it didn't work out. But the good thing is that the Jeep got destroyed, and so now we have a new vehicle open and spawn.
Where's that airhead?
They took down that Gary, so they didn't.
Gas, come back over here to grout.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm spawning on this Gary.
I just redeployed.
We're at okay, so we have 1600 fuel. I was thinking about driving a half track up, but I don't know. I just didn't.
Where's that airhead?
The supplies behind
Let's get supplies on sugar so we can rebuild that area as well.
They're destroyed. There's a tank by Madeline that shot us. We need to get a mark on it.
You're going to rebuild that egg. So surprisingly, we're getting pressure on Madeline Farm. Now looking at it, I didn't realize it was this. They were this close, but we were actually getting decent pressure on the west side there. Probably because Greyhounds may have allocated something or more or a lot to middle, see if they could just push up middle. I'm not too sure, but I'm surprised that we were able to make it that far.
I can't. It's too close to the grout one.
Okay, so 76 spawn level, spawn left.
Okay, yeah, it looks like we're getting front door pressure on Madeline Bridge now. So
yeah, with the vehicle limit, I was at with the Jeep, yeah.
Just be on guard in case they try some fuck shit in the last couple minutes here. They can't.
If I remember correctly, that's why I wanted to get it destroyed real quick. I didn't want to waste the 76 spawn. Okay, so running a recon here, 8.5 minutes left to go. Recon time is 3 minutes. So that'll give me a recon left with about 5 minutes left. Okay, so once again, 8 minutes left to go. Tanks looking really good. OP spread looking really good. I'm constantly looking at Gary's, making sure they look good. Where are gaps in the line, that sort of thing. Recon is up. Recon is up.
So just stand by, make sure they don't get some trucks behind us, and then wait for an all-in call.
No, auto spawn trucks don't count, as far as I know, towards the vehicle limits, because I think they'll spawn regardless. That's a good test, though. I never actually tried that. If I ran one out of bounds.
Sugar tank marker's moving.
Guys,
where's that airhead?
Watch for the airhead landing.
I have supplies falling by bridge.
They're dropping an airhead.
So this very distinct sound of the airhead, if you listen closely.
Like north of this.
So very closely, I'll turn it up.
Guys,
where's that airhead?
Watch for the airhead landing.
I have supplies falling by bridge.
They're dropping an airhead.
I have supplies on the mark on the build bridge.
That's an airhead.
So it's a slight drone sound that you'll hear in the game as far as when an airhead comes in. So it's very important that as Commander SL, you listen for those sounds, really any player, right? But you listen for that key sound when it comes in, and so that way you know they're dropping an airhead. Right by you, Scooty.
I have eyes on
it.
We have eyes on it.
So everybody's calling out, hey, we have eyes on, no worries, we're good.
We have eyes on that airhead, don't worry.
Remember, they may drop supplies right above you.
Supplies are dropping.
Guys, I'm on them. I'm on them.
So this isn't really an airhead. Greyhounds are really dependent on. They're just saying, hey, the commander's probably like, all right, just try something, right? There's no one back here to support it. It's just one of those random airheads. They're going to give it a shot.
Supplies down.
Egg, you're on that airhead, right?
Here comes the bumpy run. Here comes the bumpy run. Here come the bombs.
Watch out, they're gonna bomb it.
Should we have an
Okay, so then you can listen when the airhead comes down if they're going to pair with a bombing run. So you can, if they're pairing with the bombing run, then the important thing is to spread out, right? To make sure that obviously the bombing run doesn't kill you all and you're able to get the airhead. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. So we are at 8 minutes.
Northside Causeway. Sugar tank marker. Remember, they may drop.
Okay, so here comes the bombing run.
Get it, 30 days.
They bombed the point.
Airhead, I got it, it's dead.
Airhead
Okay,
is dead.
so squad lead calls out, airhead is dead, and we're good to
Team
go.
enemy air.
And I make sure to call it to the team that, hey,
Friendly
enemy airhead is
2-0
dead.
on grout.
Looking good, looking good. 6 minutes to go. Wow, I was feeling really good at this time. Tanks are in great position. Points completely clear. Our OPs are very far up. We have OPs to protect our Achilles heel, so nothing can really happen back there. And everything is just looking extremely solid. I think at this point was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna win this. We're gonna win this game.
Easy mark updated. He's moving though, so he's not there.
Okay, precision is ready. Precision is ready in case we need it. Yeah, so I saved this last precision, right? So luckily it timed out well, but this last precision will be ready for the last 6 minutes, just in case they push all with their tanks. And so I had that precision
G on
ready to
terror
go.
attack southeast.
Costco, we're 2-0 on grout. You can push forward all the way to the end if you want.
So the squad lead calls out, hey, we're 2-0 on grout. We're 2-0 on grout. So that means nobody is in sector, right? So all these 4 grid squares are completely clear. And really the enemy is relegated back to here, essentially, right? And maybe they're over here or something, but we're not in sector, so a lot less to worry about. Stuka! Okay, so here we're under 5 minute or a 5 minute mark, so I'm going to, not going to use my airhead to drop on Madeline Farm. It's going to be kind of pointless. So I'm just going to use the airhead as a defensive airhead, just to give my team an extra spawn here, so they can.
All right, guys, 3 minutes. Let's go. Lock in.
Just in case. Once again, in the last few minutes of a competitive game, you never know what might happen. There have been some crazy endings to some games.
Pillbox 320 approx.
I see them, thank you.
I have eyes on.
So you don't want to do anything, at least in my opinion, too crazy until that clock hits 1:59, and you have full cap power.
There's nothing, man. I'm out of here, front door.
So I'm just looking out into the distance and just making sure that there's nothing too much to worry about. They were dropping supplies, I think, way out there. But once again, they would need to go across the bridge here to do anything. Yeah.
Yes, I haven't covered all the way, but I'm looking and I don't
Something
fucking see
far down
anybody
the
over
road
there.
at Quarantine.
So I'm just pinging here to make sure I know exactly where the airhead's going to fall, because sometimes on the map it could be a little bit tricky as to where it's going to fall. So just want to make sure I'm dropping in the right place.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Friendly airhead coming in.
Only 2 recon.
Friendly airhead coming in.
Okay, so I call it to my team to say, hey, there's a friendly airhead coming in. It's not enemy, right? Friendly airhead.
They got a gas mask is going to get them. They landed in the water.
4 minutes left on the clock. Point is at 2-0. Absolutely amazing.
One shot.
So I'm just going to watch to make sure that nothing flickers over to 2-1, 2-2. Just in case, for whatever reason, they had an SL that stuck all the way around, like I said before. And they were either hiding out over here or whatever, right? And they do a spawn bomb.
You can get them with a grenade if you find them.
Thank you.
Okay, so gas mask is over there and checking things out. So I'm confident from the left side. We're confident from the east, west, north, south too. Everything is just looking really, really, really solid. Yeah, that's looking good.
Unlock the cheat code.
Airhead's falling in a nice, safe, little tucked away spot.
Minute and a half, boys. Lock it in.
A minute and a half left to go.
2-1 on drought.
Reinforce. I'm getting that ready. I save until the last possible second. I don't drop it right at the 4 minute mark, because if the enemy starts getting reinforced, doesn't guarantee you're not getting any cap pressure. It doesn't guarantee that at all. you have to have bodies in the circle, right? And even then, I mean, the enemy could have overwhelming. So I try to save reinforce as long as possible. Okay, so 3 minutes left on the clock. Reinforce will run for 2 minutes. I think we should be good to go. There's really nothing to worry about.
AT gun built.
If the game was more intense, I may have saved it a little bit longer. Strong points at 2-0. 2-0. Okay, so I call out to the team saying, hey, nobody's in sector. Nice. Everyone's starting to feel a little bit better, I think, right? Everything's looking extremely solid.
Active AT gun. They're trying to prep it for you.
Oh.
Okay, so recon shows a tank over on the far east side for whatever reason, all the way over there, with 2.5 minutes left to go. And that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, 15 seconds left to go.
I don't know.
Everyone's feeling really good. I'm just gonna drop a bombing run for funsies. 3, 2, 1. GG! There we go. We beat the Greyhounds. A very cool victory.
Hey, Widow, who was messaging you right after telling you that you were playing
Why
Greyhounds
would you
on their best
play
map?
Greyhounds on their best map?
Now all the fun and banter begins.
Yeah, who the fuck is that?
After the game is over or we officially won. Everyone's feeling good, and everyone gets to joke around their own chats and stuff. And it's a great ending. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, everybody. I'll be sure to do more of these. I thought this was kind of fun. Just kind of look back at my old games and stuff like that. So, good game, everybody. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining me.